Welcome everyone to another episode of Wisdom with Wiebke. And today I am welcoming Viola. It's one of my longest friends I have, I think. We know each other for 16 years now. So I'm super excited to have her on the podcast. And very grateful as well that she said yes to that on a Sunday. And we met each other when we were at our apprenticeship when we were both 16, I think, as well. So we know each other the same amount of time that we don't know each other, which is funny. And yeah, we both were going for the apprenticeship of electrician, and she did the mechanical part, but we were both the only female participants in there, and that bonded us quickly. And that's how we got to know each other. And we kept in touch over time. And now I'm super excited to ask her some questions about, about the podcast is about spirituality, but then also how people integrate spirituality in their lives. And I know that she is quite spiritual and you're doing yoga as well, but so many other different things which people might not point out as spiritual. So I'm excited and very curious to get to know you better in that kind of space. And let's start. And maybe you want to introduce yourself as well a little bit.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm apologizing already in the beginning of the workshop. I have a cat here. No, podcast, not workshop, sorry. I have a cat here. And the moment I'm talking with someone, she's super curious and she wants to take part in the conversation. So if you hear someone meowing in the background, that's her. Yeah, Wiebke, crazy. We've known each other for so long. And yeah, so what am I doing, and what am I doing with spirituality? I think is that spirituality brought me actually where I am right now and who I am, and that many moments in my life changed my path, and I'm very grateful to what I'm doing right now, which is so different to from where I came, basically, you would say, maybe.
Tell us a little bit more about where you came from, because we started with technology and this whole kind of male dominated space, and now you moved on and you made very different kind of life choices, and you also started a lot of new things. And really, I was always super inspired by you and by your kind of determination, but also patient with yourself and trying new things. And then it may not worked out that way you anticipated, or you found another path. And right now you're on a very, very beautiful path. Like all the pictures I can see on Instagram, they're amazing. So maybe tell us a little bit more. I think there's a dog barking, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, we got dogs, we got cats. It's all there. It's life. It's a living, breathing podcast. So we invite everything in today. But yeah, tell us a little bit more about what you're currently doing.
Yeah. Right now, I am a business owner, and I would say running my second startup. I started last year with floristry and flower business, where I grow my own flowers here in North Germany. I grow everything with the rhythm of nature, and I don't use chemical fertilizers or pesticides. So everything just the way nature allows me in my little space here. And hosting workshops. I am offering bouquets, but I'm also sharing my flowers on events with people. So that's what I'm busy right now. It sounds, on the picture, it sounds very, maybe very romantic, but the majority of my days I spend like literally on the ground in the soil, like digging around. Like it gets really rough and dirty, if I may say so. But yeah, that's also, I would say, the beauty of it. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Yes, it sounds amazing. And yeah, the pictures, they do look very romantic and very aesthetic as well. I always love looking through them. And I'm wondering, yeah, what's behind the scenes, but then
Mm,
also what brought you to this. I know you did something like not everyone knows, but you did some kind of dyeing as well, and
yeah,
that was all natural as well. So
yeah,
I already thought this is so cool that you're doing something everyone kind of does or wants to do, but you do it in a very natural way, and nothing gets harmed basically. You use the ingredients of nature, and you do it again now with the flowers. So
mm.
what made you get there to that kind of, I want to do it my way, I want to do it in a natural way, in the more organic way?
I think actually I have to be grateful to my second burnout to actually make the step to where I am. I've struggled a lot during my work life in the past, not just during our apprentice, as you know, but also like with other employers. And I've always been like a super interested person with a high need to let out creativity. Um, so yeah, and that's also what made me struggle a lot at workplaces, which had like a very strict structure. Um, yeah, and like hitting rock bottom the second time has taught me, okay, wow, I need to rethink everything. I need to question everything I'm doing. Like, this is really not good. I mean, it was 2019. I was mid 20s, and having a second burnout is just not where you want to be in your 20s. So yeah, I just dropped everything for, I don't know how many times I did that before. I dropped everything in my life, returned to my home country. I've been traveling Europe for 7 years and returned to Germany. Yeah, and just tried to live again. And there was always this lingering idea about um, just going back to the roots a little bit. And textile design was like my hobby and my creativity. And I've been doing it just like, from time to time as a hobby. And I just started kind of doing it as a therapy for myself. And it became a business, and it kind of grew into yeah, a wonderful journey where I grew those plants, which I used to dye textiles, to then either make products out of it or sell it to customers. And yeah, that kind of getting back to a rhythm which is mostly led by nature, um, that really healed me. If I say so, yeah, I think that was like one of the moments where I truly could understand myself and like just be myself as well. Yeah, and
Amazing.
being in the garden, um, I would say like 10 out of 12 months. And loving flowers anyways. I kind of came across an organization in Germany which is called the Slow Flower Movement. And it's basically an organization and a collection of slow flower farmers. Like, slow flower is what we call ourselves because the plants are just growing the way and in the speed they want. So yeah, and like finding them, I felt like, wow, this is exactly what I wanted to do. And what I've been doing with the natural dyes already, kind of. So yeah, I just started to to grow flowers and start another business. Yeah, yeah,
It
that,
sounds really powerful. Like, thank you so much, first of all, for breaking this all down. And it sounds super powerful to me when you're saying that it kind of healed you,
mm,
like working with that, and it was kind of your therapy, the dying process, and then that led you to what you're doing right now. And when you were saying that the flowers, they just grow and you can just let them grow, I felt like, oh yeah, it's just like humans, you know. We always
Mm,
with the structure when at the beginning when you were saying you had some struggles with the structures
mm,
in different kind of workplaces. It's with us as well. Oftentimes we have so many rules or so many structures within or beliefs. We have to do it this way, we have to do it that way. And if we would just let it be and let us be
mm.
as like growing flowers. So yeah, I just had that in my head there. I wanted to share
Yeah,
that with you.
yeah,
But
no, I can find that.
it's amazing. So right now, and you're working a lot with flowers, you're digging in the ground, you said, and it's a process. So what would you say helped you the most in that kind of healing process? Going out there, working with the flowers, or even doing the dyeing processes?
Mm, I think the part which was, I would say, like essential to me is letting go, like not having control over something, or also not being controlled. I think those two understandings, that once I let them go and once I just kind of let myself and let my surrounding kind of flow, um yeah, that was to me the moment of, where I started to understand myself as well, and where I started to find a balance again. So yeah, I think letting go is like not just like if I apply it to the flowers, like, or the bad weeds or something. I would just like, at some moment I would be like, oh my god, I have to, this patch, I need to like weed it now. It's just like the flowers, they're getting overgrown by some random grasses, oh no. And the moment of like, wait a minute, let just everything be by themselves, and we will see, maybe actually those snapdragons, or I don't know, like diphiliums, they need the support of the weeds, coming through. Or last year I had a whole patch, like I think it was like 15 square meters, where I planned to have like the most beautiful irises, and then some birds sowed for me some amaranthus, and this whole patch was like full with high, like, I don't know, like 2 meter tall amaranthuses. And I was I think it's called also, in English, no, how do you call it in English? I think amaranthus, no,
You're the
probably.
flower power woman. I'm like, this is
I'm
a
like,
sunflower.
some botanist is like listening, like, what plant is she talking about? Like, well, it's just a certain plant which I didn't plan on having in my garden. The birds did it for me. And in the end, it was like one of the most important fillers for my bouquets and for events and everything. So I was so grateful to those birds who dropped some seeds in there. And then I was like, thank God I have that filler, because otherwise my bouquets or my arrangements, they would have been a little bit whimsy. So yeah, like those moments, I'm always like, okay, just letting go and like seeing what nature gives me, but also transferring it to other parts in life, being reminded just by nature, really. That's like the part where I would say, sorry for getting long on that
This is
one.
great. No, I love this because I'm already thinking, okay, this is brilliant. What helped you remind yourself of in those moments where you're just like, I want to control it, to let go? Because I think lots of listeners would benefit of knowing, okay, letting go, we hear this a lot, right? Oh, you
Oh
just
yeah,
let
yeah.
go, just let it go. But I know whenever I was scrolling on Instagram, seeing another, you just have to let it go, girl.
Yeah.
And you're like, great, how? So
Mm.
I'm very curious now to understand better
Mm.
what's your tool or what's your kind of technique to let go.
Um, so how to say, so while I experienced my first and also the second burnout I had, I had this kind of feeling. I mean, that's also one of the symptoms of burnout, is feeling overwhelmed. So this feeling of overwhelming, I'm like, personally, my character is a little bit, I'm a people pleaser, so I fall into those, you know, piling up, and I couldn't define for myself this feeling of overwhelming or overwhelmed. But I would describe it as if someone is pressing down your chest and your lungs, and even though, let's say, you're laying on bed and you're totally relaxed, you feel like you're running like 1,000 steps up and you can't take enough breath. That's how I realized like this overwhelmed feeling. And whenever I, even though it's just tasks from myself, or even though it's just maybe like a lot of people reaching out or messages or something, and whenever I'm having this feeling of like, okay, I feel like it's a little bit like overwhelming right now. It can be like with other people or just by myself or by a certain situation. I have this feeling of like, okay, I just want to breathe deeply, like using the full capacity of my lungs. And if I feel I can't do that because of this overwhelming tension, I have like, okay, I need to let go. I need to let go tasks or, like promises I made or something, and just letting them go gives me the capacity of like breathing and flowing again, like just coming back to myself, like centering in a sense. So that's sometimes those moments have to come for me to realize, okay, I need to let go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. And thanks for explaining how it feels in your body, to recognize then that like the certain threshold kind of is there, is exceeded maybe even, and then you take action in letting go. So the letting go part there, you were saying you would let go certain tasks, or promises you made to people. Is it more a mental thing that you would say, okay, let go of this promise now? Or are you actually like reaching out to people and say, you know what, this task I need to prioritize, reprioritize, or how does this, like, I know I'm digging, but how does the letting go process look like for Viola?
So most of the times, actually, the pressure comes from myself. So I would say, I think like 80% of the people in my life, they're not the people who are like, okay, but like Sunday, 6 o'clock, you have to be there. So I think I'm already surrounded with wonderful people, and most of the pressure and expectations come from myself. But even though there has been a promise I've made with another person, I'm just brutally honest. I stopped caring in a sense, or I stopped being sensible or sensitive for other people, and having the need of making the most comfort for them. I don't know if that's something which people say it comes with age, but also understanding that you only have one body and one mind, and the biggest gift you can give to yourself is trying to keep both healthy. And if I feel okay, I'm getting into a situation where it is too much for me, too overwhelming, I'm reaching out and I'm like, okay, I'm so sorry. I know I said I'm gonna send this, or I'm gonna prepare something, or even deliver on time sometimes. I'm just reaching out. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to even make excuses. It's just getting too much right now, and I need to like get another hour or get another day, to just get everything in a way that I feel comfortable doing it.
Mm,
And
right. Yes,
that's
perfect. And this is like, okay, I think I love that you are going really into action, because that's something people can work with, especially me. That it's not just something in your head. You also said a lot of things are in your head, or like you putting the pressure onto you, not so much your surroundings, which is great that you're surrounded by so many lovely people. And then if there is something, you put it into action. So that's very helpful to know. And also to kind of recognize when it gets too much, to have this kind of inner reminder of, oh, I know that feeling. Now I'm going to do something. My curiosity now tells me I want to know what people say when you do those actions. Like, what kind of responses do you get?
It really depends. So if I'm more on like family and friends side, I never had anyone being like, oh, but I expected you to be here in 10 minutes or something like this. And even if, like, sometimes from families, when there's like dinner plans or something, and you're like, wow, it's 6 o'clock. I was meant to be there, but
Yeah.
I haven't even started the car, like I definitely gonna be too late. And of course there's like expectations, but maybe with friends and family, if there are those expectations, I'm just like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, it's just a situation right now. It's just life, and it's just the way it is. And professionally, I did have some reactions on, okay, but that's not what we planned, or okay, but the deadline is like yesterday. um and then I'm just, you know in the end, also being in the event world with my flowers, um I just experienced, especially this year, that sometimes, I don't want to say it wasn't meant to be, but it is a little bit it wasn't meant to be, and a little bit, maybe it is not the right time, or maybe um, I'm just not ready for it yet. So with those kind of understandings, I let the situation go. And in the end of the day, I think that applies to most jobs and most situations. We're just human. So I think we are, or the most people are, in jobs where it doesn't depend on life situation. So like, I'm not talking about everyone, but like, of course I can't compare to the health system. But I think, like, if we really look at the bigger picture, it really doesn't matter if, like, if you're working in marketing, if it's like today or tomorrow, or if your business has to wait another day, because in the end of the day, um, you can only function to a certain way. And because we're all individuals, there can always be something why you can't perform 100%. It might be that you're feeling stressed, or that your body is not feeling healthy, so you can't really put a lot of energy in what you're doing. There's so many circumstances, and so many, from like the outside, are hitting our mind and our body, that can cause for us to have, like, drifting into another way. um I think, like, if we understand that, and if we're a little bit more gentle with us and other people, then it will be so much easier. So I think, if someone is listening and also tends to put a lot of pressure on themselves, um, to hold up promises, or to hold up deadlines or something, I sometimes ask myself, but like, what if it doesn't happen? Like, what if, like, what does is it matter actually? So yeah, and if I feel like well, it doesn't matter that much, then it is okay to just actively let it go and be like, okay, I'm your wrong florist, or, you know, like maybe not this month, maybe next month, or something like this.
Yeah. I love the kind of affirmations or powerful mindset and messages you were telling yourself, or you are telling yourself after things don't happen the way they were maybe expected. Because
Mm,
lots of times we can go into that kind of rabbit hole of like, oh, but how and why and what could I have done better? Or maybe next time I need to push more, right? A lot of times when we have pressure already, we're like, okay, we need to push more. But telling yourself, okay, maybe it wasn't meant to be, or I'm
mm,
not ready yet. Um, and also the yet at the ready yet, because maybe
yeah.
sometimes people say, oh, I'm not ready yet. Yeah, because there
Mm,
might be at some point a point where you are ready. It's
mm,
kind of with the birds, you just let
mm,
it be. So who knows what appears? And I love how you take the nature wisdom into your life and apply it there. And I can really see it from your energy, like how good how well it's established, or how well it's combined in your
mm.
daily life right now. So thank you so much for sharing that wisdom. There was so much in it. And now I want to also let the listeners know any projects you might have planned in the future. And also, I'm going to put in if people want to reach out to you, I'm going to put in the podcast episode your Instagram handle and your website and all these things. So please reach out to Viola if you want to hear more about her, or if you want to see those beautiful flowers. But yeah, now let me know, or let us know a bit more of what have you planned for the future, which you can already share with us.
I would say in the near future are two exciting things happening. One is a retreat. I am so honored to be a co-host. It is a retreat which I would describe a fusion of floral design and spirituality. I'm hosting with two wonderful people who I love so dearly, and they're in a sense like dear friends, but also mentors. And we are a mixture of holistical coach, um, floral designer, with myself being a florist farmer, I would say. And the week will be filled with mindful meditations. We have beautiful, nourishing food with us and products. It's happening in the probably most beautiful workshop space in this like huge orangerie, which is filled with light and warmth. And we are taking breaks on meditation, but also just exchanging with ourselves, and also having kind of, I would say, floral lectures where we share our knowledge on how to make a floral installation, which will go from the ceiling, which is, I don't know, like 8 meters high, and like coming all down with flowers and seasonal materials. And or making smaller flower installations, which in my case would be the ikebana, the Japanese traditional floral art. But also with Anne and Sebastian doing their beautiful floristry. And yeah, so that's one very exciting thing. And it's always so overwhelming to almost say how beautiful it is to see participants join who are coming from all the different areas and all the different stages in their life, and just have like this kind of oasis for a week where they can return to themselves, what I've experienced myself with the flowers, on just focusing, oh, where am I going to put this tulip now? Am I a little bit to the left or right? Or like, where is it going to stand? And your whole mind is going to be filled with the conversation you have with the flowers and with the art you're creating. And that's so nourishing and so fulfilling that I feel like this break you give yourself is just something very, very special where you can kind of feed on through the whole year. So that's one very exciting thing. And then, of course, the future is knocking on the door. Spring is coming. My flowers are getting ready. So yeah, it's very exciting to see the daffodils and the tulips and alliums kind of reaching up and getting ready to be part in installations or in bouquets. Yeah, that's
Can't
the
wait for
future.
the pictures. And thank you for giving us a little preview for the retreat. And if
Oh
you
yeah,
give me the website or so link for it, I'm going to put that in the episode as well.
oh
So people
that's
can reach out if they want, if they feel after
yeah.
this preview, because it was quite engaging, I must say. I want to put a tulip somewhere now as well. And it's so great to see you talking about it, because I just see so much presence in there, like
Mm,
focusing on one thing only, like
mm,
even how we sometimes like I would do my coffee in the morning and I would really focus on grinding the coffee and then heating up the water and how I pour it into my coffee, like all those little steps, right?
yeah,
And how you were explaining it with the like one seed and where will I put
yeah,
it, and really focusing on that gives
yeah,
us, it's kind of a mindfulness practice. So
yeah. It
can't
is.
wait for all the participants there having
Yeah,
that experience.
and also like so the way like we kind of phrase the whole retreat, it's not just like it's not like that we're putting pressure out there like, okay, so like 9 a.m. we're gonna meditate and you're gonna sit there for 30 minutes and you're gonna have a fulfillment or an enlightenment or whatever. You can just go for a walk, or also when you're feeling like, okay, those flowers are just too flimsy for me, like I really need to like get something some other like um kind of exercise in or something. So it's just more like that for everyone. I think um without wanting to put it like too much the finger down, but I think like everyone has some sort of spirituality in them, like whoever they define it. It doesn't need to be that you define it as a spirituality, or like maybe you're defining it just like me time, or if you're defining it as a religion, or if you're refining it just like in like talking to yourself in your mind. It's, I think everyone has something in themselves, and to just like kind of activating it and listening to it, whatever it is, can only be positive for you. I think so, if we listen to ourselves a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
and getting that time to, or taking that time to actually listen, and then or having that stillness or the space for it. So what you were just saying there about that you won't have this like super concrete or super pressured kind of structure of you have to be there and you have to be there at a certain point, sounds very much again what you were saying at the beginning of you going more with the flow now, and
Mm.
where it's more natural. Like if I'm not hungry at 9, I'm not going to go to the breakfast, right? So it's great that you integrate that there as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait for all the people who benefit from this. I wish you the best for the flowers, a really great season. I'm super grateful that I had you today in my podcast.
Thank
And
you.
for everyone wanting to reach out to Viola, please do. She's the best, as you can tell. And if you heard something today that might benefit someone else, please feel free to share and give me a follow, or a 5-star or a 4-star if it's just 4 star. I'm just taking 5 stars. But thanks so much. And one last word from Viola.
Hmm. I wasn't prepared for this, but yeah, I think be kind to yourself.
Yes. Be kind and stay awesome. See you soon.